some special guests that have joined us tonight. Sonia Sandhu, Member of Parliament for Brampton South, and Shafqat Ali, Member of Parliament for Brampton Centre. I want to start by acknowledging the hard work of so many people that have led to this sold-out room tonight. Our special thanks to our selling committee members, Mani Kara, Harjinder Gill, Jaspreet Dillon, Hardam Mangad, and Kamal Barak, without whom this event wouldn't have been possible. Our volunteers are the heart of all that makes a Brampton West Liberal team truly the best. Before we begin, I want to say how much of an honor it is for me to introduce someone who's been a force in our community, consistently delivering many roles that she has held since becoming the youngest Liberal Member of Parliament elected in 2015. But for me, the role that I am most grateful for is of her being a mentor, an older sister, and a friend of me, and many other young people in Brampton. Through the highs of campaign victories and the lows of the COVID-19 pandemic, she has always been there for us, consistently, with passion and resolve, so that we are always supported. And during the height of the pandemic, when nurses were run off their feet and our seniors were left behind in the senior homes, she stepped up once again. Personally for me, when I saw her go back to the front lines as a nurse to vaccinate and protect the most vulnerable in her community, I couldn't be more proud to know her. So without delay, please welcome my mentor and a friend and the very best Member of Parliament for Brampton West, the Honourable Kamal Kara.
Thank you, Surtaj, for that kind introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here. And it's so nice to see so many great friends, colleagues, and of course, a lot of family members as well. And I just wanted to start off by first and foremost saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you, because election after election, day after day, you have been there for me personally, but also for this Liberal Party of Canada and our Liberal team. So for that, I just want to say I'm forever grateful to each and every one of you. And I think we should be extremely proud of the work that we've done for the last 7.5 years. And it's because of each and every one of you that we were able to accomplish so much as a party. You know, one of the very first things, as you guys know, that we did was to lower taxes for middle-class families. We then introduced measures such as the Canada Child Benefit that has helped over hundreds and thousands of families and children and has lifted hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty. Or the work that we did for our seniors. You know, whether it was restoring the age of eligibility for retirement back to 65 from 67. Or the fact that we moved forward on initiatives such as increasing the guaranteed income supplement, the old age security, and making sure our future retirees have the support so we enhance the CPP. But when you look around the room, you know, all of our stories, you know, we all come from somewhere. You know, we have one of the best immigration policies in the world. We are a compassionate, loving country. And the fact that, you know, so many of us here come today so we can reunite our families, it's because of this Liberal government. And let's not ever forget that. We're also extremely proud of the fact that, you know, we have some of the lowest unemployment rates in the G7 and the highest job rate that we have in Canada. Or the fact that we move forward on one of the most progressive social policies that this country has seen, which is accessible and affordable childcare. We should be extremely proud of that. Because let's be real, the fact that we were able to sign an agreement with every single province and territory, the fact that the childcare fees are cut by half already here in Ontario, and I see so many kids here today, and that's a testament of the fact that we need to make sure we're supporting our children and our communities. And of course, the fact that we move forward on dental care. You know, we started just with children under the age of 12. Or the fact that we're making significant investments in healthcare. That is because of each and every one of you. That is because you poured your heart and souls into the many campaigns that you been with me, or our Brampton team at large. So I want to say thank you to you. But I think let's also be clear. There are people that don't want us to move forward on this progress. They want to cut because they believe in cuts and austerity. And I know we won't let that happen, and I know it won't happen because of two reasons. First and foremost, it's because of each and every one of you. The fact that you're here on a Tuesday evening, spending time with all of us, talking about our liberal values and what it means for Canada. And second reason, because we have one of the most dedicated and one of the hardest working leaders that I've had the opportunity to work with. So please, with a huge round of applause, welcome our good friend and of course the leader of the Liberal Party in Canada, our leader, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
Thank you, Bella. Good evening, my friends. Please sit down. What a pleasure to be here with you all. What a pleasure to see you all. I want to thank this gathering. I missed last year, but I feel like this is an extension of that. Right? So it's a pleasure to see you all, and thank you for coming out. As Kamal said, random Tuesday night with lots of other things to do it. With family, TV, chilling. But the fact is, you chose to get involved. You chose to come out, participate, and contribute to our political process. That means a lot. It obviously means a lot to me. The party can't function without your support. But it means more than that. It means, despite the challenges of what politics are these days, how much is negative, you still believe in coming out to support. You believe and you understand the role that people have in shaping their democracies for the better. And that's why I, as much as means thanking you, it's obviously it's our friends Shafkat and Sonia and others who stepped up to put their names forward and be part of politics. Because democracies only work when everyone gets involved. When people understand that the conversations we have as a country aren't just about every 4 years or every few years sending people that you're a fan of to make all the decisions on your behalf. The modern democracies work when everyone is involved, not just in conversations about where we're going as a country, but in how to solve the big challenges we're facing. I mean, that dynamic where politicians will come forward and tell you how it's going to be, and tell you what's going on, give you all the solutions. That doesn't really work in this country. This world is too complex. And our communities and our citizens are too diverse to be able to have any one person know everything that's right. That's where being involved in politics as active supporters, participants, people who are taking an interest beyond just looking through the pages or seeing a website every now and then is so important. Because, like I said, democracies only work if we commit. If we decide that we're going to get involved and be really thoughtful, who we support, how we shape our future. That's the essence of democracy. Now, to be honest, is one of the big challenges we're facing. Because the massive amounts of information, maybe worse than massive amounts of disinformation and misinformation that's out there, there's a good job of two things. First of all, of having people feel overwhelmed. There's just so much going on. There's so much toxicity, so much negativity. Why follow politics at all? And secondly, misinformation, disinformation, media is designed to get your emotions down, get you angry, to get you outraged, to get you angry at something. Because over the years, politicians, various stripes, have learned that it is easy to motivate someone through anger, to get them to react. You can get them to go out and vote based on anger. The one thing that anger can't do is solve problems. One thing it can't do is once you've got everyone angry, stepping forward and saying, change everything, actually make a compelling case for how to do things better. And that's what we need in politics. Particularly because there is so much uncertainty and anxiety in the world. I mean, just think about what we've gone through the past few years. We have, first of all, a climate crisis we've been faced over the past years that is getting worse and worse. Floods, wildfires, terrible storms and hurricanes that are having a greater and greater impact, particularly on vulnerable people around the world, having a real impact in Canada as well. That's a source of anxiety. How are we going to make sure that our kids and our grandkids grow up with all the opportunities and all the advantages that we've taken for granted as Canadians, lucky to have the kind of natural environment we have? On top of that, just went through a pandemic. It was unbelievably stressful. And everyone worried, themselves, their loved ones, the elderly, exposed to great gaps in our healthcare systems, in our community systems to support each other. Then Russia invaded Ukraine, which caused massive challenges in terms of fuel prices, food prices, fertilizer, supply chains around the world that were already fragilized by COVID, disrupted by war returning to Europe, having impacts all around the world. On top of that, you see an emboldening of certain authoritarian countries, Russia, China, and others, who are using their levers to destabilize democracies, whether it's access to fuel and resources Russia's doing, whether it's deliberate use of misinformation and disinformation online to influence outcomes and to sow discord. Layer on top of that, coming out of the pandemic, economic growth again led to inflation, both caused by disrupted supply chains, energy crises, and war in Ukraine. Also the fact that our economy is booming. We've been dealing with high inflation, and now we're dealing with high interest rates as well. So let's be honest, there's a lot of reasons to be anxious. There's a lot of reasons to feel worried about where the world is going, how you're going to do it. That's understandable. But what is not so understandable is why some people who feel that they should be leading this country are choosing to amplify those negative feelings, that anxiety, that uncertainty, instead of allaying it. Because what people need is a solution. And we have worked very hard over these past 8 years to lay out real solutions that have set this country on a better path. I will talk about a few. Starting with initiatives like Canada Child Net, lifted hundreds of thousands of kids out of poverty. Part of lifting over 1 million Canadians out of poverty over these past years. And to do that at the same time as we've created millions of new jobs. As we've invested in transforming the economy so we can innovate, draw on our natural resources in cleaner ways and export them to the world, to create good jobs coast to coast to coast, in a range of forward-facing industries, to continue to be able to grow our economy and our country by building on immigration, by increasing our immigration targets. Because we know immigration creates jobs. This community is an extraordinary example of the benefits Canada has derived and gained from people coming here to build a better life for themselves, and not just straight economic growth. The richness of a more diverse country, Canada has been able to prove that we are strong, not in spite of our differences, but because of those differences. And that's a lesson that people around the world are struggling to learn, but it remains a fundamental advantage for this country. But I'll be honest, in a country that is so diverse, geographically, regionally, language, religion, origins, cultures, stories, backgrounds, it's always easy to find a wedge. It's always easy to play one community off against another. Harder to bring people together. But ultimately, if we want to solve these challenges we're facing, that's what we need to do. And it's not a revolutionary idea, it's actually Canadians' instinct. I think it's because of the weather. We've all learned that long winter nights, we need to be there to lean on each other to get through it. Hundreds of years ago or just last week. But in all seriousness, it's good. And for one of us to succeed, it helps if all of us succeed. If everyone has a real fair chance. And that's certainly how we made it through the pandemic. Canada did better in the pandemic than most of our other peer countries, if not all of them. Why? For a few reasons. Yes, government, particularly the federal government, stepped up with income supports, with supports for small businesses. We stepped up with delivering vaccines, but mostly Canadians stepped up to get vaccinated, to be there for their neighbors, to support our frontline health workers. Come on. Took time off from her job as an MP to get back to being a nurse, delivering vaccines. Everyone was doing whatever they could do. She kept being an MP while she was doing it. But everyone looked for ways to help out. And that's not natural. That's not automatic. That didn't happen everywhere in the world. Because the natural human instinct in times of crisis and challenges, hunker down, protect your family, hope the storm blows over. What did we do instead? We leaned in, being there for each other, being there for our elders. And that's why, despite the challenging times people are facing right now, with rising costs of living, with rising interest rates, with uncertainty in the global economy, I'm so optimistic about this country. It's because I'm so optimistic about Canadians, about our capacity to pull together and solve the challenges we're facing. Because yes, the world is facing a time of a bit of an economic slowdown. Canada continues to add jobs. We're seeing inflation rates go down. We're seeing interest rates stabilize. We're seeing the world looking to the things that Canada has to offer. Solutions on how to build successful, diverse, rich, pluralistic societies that continue to grow, even as so many other countries more hesitant around immigration are seeing their populations flatten and therefore age. We're a place that continues to be free traders. Even in an era of protectionism, Canada has become an economy that has privileged access to 2/3 of the global economy. We're the only G7 country with a free trade deal with every other G7 country. That means not just good opportunities for people who are in business, but companies wanting to invest, new manufacturing facilities, new factories, new high-quality jobs for Canadians know that they can do that here and trade with the world. And at a time where energy uncertainty is the name of the game, Canada continues to be blessed with tremendous natural resources. We continue to have oil and gas and will for the coming years where that's necessary, but at the same time, brightest minds are innovating and working hard in places like Alberta and elsewhere to decarbonize, to reduce the carbon footprint and the emissions of our oil and gas, even as we develop the solutions, whether it's around hydrogen, whether it's around offshore wind, whether it's around a range of electrification projects. Canada will be the supplier of solutions that the net zero world needs. We need critical minerals to build the batteries that are going to go in the electric cars we're all going to be driving in the coming decades. Those critical minerals come from a few different places in the world, some of them China and Russia. But everyone around the world is starting to say, okay, no, we need both reliable supply chains from friends who we know are not going to use it against us, and hey, Canada. But we also have customers who are saying, I want to make sure that when I'm buying a new car, it's made of steel and aluminum and batteries that aren't contributing to ruining the planet, that are paying the workers who built the components in this car good living wages to build stronger communities. That's starting to matter more and more for customers around the world. Canada can be there with these solutions. That's why we're seeing companies innovate and invest in Canada. Switch of Dofasco Steel, an ArcelorMittal company, from being coal-fired in steel making to electric arc happened, yes, because the government invested, but also because we put a price on pollution, and also because we created the conditions for that company to make that investment. Because even if the demand for steel around the world is more or less flatlined, the demand for green, clean steel is skyrocketing. When I was in Hamilton a few months ago, talking with steel workers at that plant, they were telling me how proud they were to be second and even third generation Hamilton steel workers. I said, that's great. You must be happy with this announcement. They said, yes, because this means there are now going to be 7th and 8th generation Hamilton steel workers over the coming century. Because by investing in the kinds of things that are going to be good for the environment, we're creating the economy of the future. For years, we've been talking about the fact that climate change is a challenge, but also an opportunity. But if we're being honest, for the first few years, we focused much more on the challenges than the opportunities. What we're now seeing is whether it's global investment, whether it's global solutions, that's where the future is going. Canada is incredibly well positioned to do it. Not just because of our natural resources, not just because of our trade access to places around the world, primarily because of Canadians ourselves. Our ability to be among the best educated people in the world, the most hardworking, strong, stable social fabric, strong, stable democracy, allies around the world, powerful work ethic, diversity that makes us resilient, responsive to the challenges. Canada is extraordinarily well positioned for the challenges of the future because Canadians are at our core. Hardworking, optimistic, and able to tackle and overcome, succeed through any challenges that are thrown at us. So when Pierre Poilievre spends his time trying to make people angry, try to tell people to lose hope by saying things that Canada is broken, he's trying to get votes. He's trying to anger people enough to get motivated. He's not actually trying to solve any problems. The only proposal he put forward to help with inflation was telling people if they bought Bitcoin, they could opt out of inflation. If someone had listened to him last spring and bought Bitcoin when he told them to, they'd have lost more than half of their life savings right now. That's not serious. That's not responsible leadership. Nor was standing with the people who blockaded city streets and shut down our borders in illegal occupations. Nor is continuing to choose to spread misinformation and disinformation as he has been. I mean, yes, Canadians and Canada are facing challenging times right now. But what we need is serious, responsible leadership that's going to recognize the challenge we face and meet those challenges at once. The same kind of optimism and strength Canadians have always taken challenges. Exactly like you've done throughout your lives, throughout your career, throughout your success, and also what you've done choosing to be here to participate in positive politics, to contribute to make sure that we can continue getting our message out across Canadians to counter the negativity, misinformation, and to remind Canadians that when we pull together, when we listen to each other, roll up our sleeves, and work together, there's no challenge we can't overcome. Nous avons beaucoup de travail devant nous, mes chers amis. Et je sais qu'ensemble, nous allons pouvoir réussir à bâtir un monde meilleur, pas juste pour nos enfants, nos petits-enfants, pour les gens à travers le monde. The work we get to do as Canadians isn't just about building a better future for ourselves. It's about contributing to the solutions that the world needs on how to build a better world, how to build fairer, more just societies, how to build those solutions everyone in the world is looking for right now. We have them right here, in this room, right across the country, and I, for one, so excited to be doing it with you all. Merci beaucoup, mes chers amis.